What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's been a while. This is Austin here, bringing you guys at last, Game 2 of Squirtle versus Slayers MMA. Of course, MMA is going to be our Red Terran at the top right of Sandshorn Mists, and Pro S, Squirtle, is going to be the yellow Protoss at the bottom left. So, if you guys did not watch Game 1, I'll give you a little bit of a background. This is from IPL 4. This is from the Losers Bracket Semifinals. So, it's a best-of-3 style, which Squirtle is up 1-0. I remember nothing of that game because I cast it a couple weeks ago. I came down with a little bit of a cough and kind of flu. The really degenerating one, really, that hurts your throat and you're coughing frequently. I think you might have even heard that in my last commentary. And then get tired faster, runny nose and everything. So commentary, it has to be done in health. So I want to bring you guys the absolute best content. I apologize for the lengthy delay. I'm going to be back on regular schedule now, bringing you games as frequently as I used to. It was just that I wanted to make sure I got my health up to speed so that I could bring you this level of content. So, Squirtle is a preferred player of mine. I'm not favoring him over MMA or anything. It's an even game. They're both powerful Korean players in an exciting TvP matchup. But Squirtle entering this tournament was kind of an unknown. So to get to this point, he had to go through the open bracket, which is, I'm sure if you asked any player who had gone through it, hell, because there's so many times that you can lose, and you have to win so very many games in a row without fail just to reach the main competition, at which you can lose and then go out of the tournament with nothing in your pocket. So a lot is on the line for these players. I feel that MMA is underachieved in recent months. Leading up to this tournament. This was held in early April, to my knowledge. I did watch it live, and MMA is such a strong player, but he's come very close, but his achievements are just kind of like Idra, who's a fantastic player, but his achievements have not exactly reflected his skill as of late. It can be by the luck of the draw, or just by simply being outplayed. So Sella is going actually for the Tech Lab into Reapers, which is quite solid against Protoss, and Squirtle is going for the fast expand, so he does like his Stargate play. I know that I've seen that from him before. But his overall macro is able to incorporate the Stargate into his regular strategy. From the point of view of a Protoss player, it is very difficult to pull off a Stargate. You have to have a bustling economy with a good enough balance of production to units, because you don't want to overextend your economy and then... I apologize for setting myself busy, but you don't want to overextend your economy and then you're dead because you have no units, but you don't want to get you don't want to not have enough minerals or gas to accommodate for the level of units you're hoping for. So now the scout from MMA, who's playing under the account Sella, who is another member of his Slayers clan, is going to scout here with the SCV, and now actually his Reaper may get surrounded. A lot of probes have to be pulled off the line, so that is valuable mining time delayed, and the Reaper doesn't even take any health damage. He has 1 kill, but often with harasses as such, it's more the mining time that matters. So now there is going to be the Stim Pack on the way, still just a 1 racks for the Tech Lab producing Marines, and now Warp Gate Tech coming from Squirtle right on time at the actually earlier than I normally pull off. He managed it at around 5:10 or give or take a few seconds. But we do now have 2 more barracks from MMA in production, so I don't know what happened to that Reaper. Did it eventually die? Has it returned to his main? I don't know the fate of his Reaper. Yes, it's still lying around somewhere. There it must be. Still 1 kill, but I'm sure it has denied at least some degree of mining time. So now here is that harassment stalker from Squirtle, and I've actually seen this with increasing frequency in high-level games. The fast stalker, usually with a zealot to support or multiple, just to pull off a bit of a harass. Even if it is outnumbered greatly by Marines in the bunker at the expand, usually they try to micro it to take the least health damage possible. Squirtle did take a lot of health damage, actually, and he will lose this Stalker, so that's a bit of a micro error there for Squirtle, you have to be careful against this bunker. It's fine if you get a couple hits off, and don't take any serious damage on the Stalker, but if you lose it early game, it could actually detract from your total unit composition. So he's going for my preferred TvP strategy, Squirtle. The 3-gate Robo, of course, with the faster expand, that'll accommodate more for the Immortal in tech into early Colossi. I love it. It's so powerful against Terran players because they get their fast Marauders. We do have actually 2 reactor racks alongside this tech lab, and no Marauders in production yet, but usually Terran players get the Marauders, and if you scout that they have none, you'll get... I always get the Observer, and then the fast Immortal, and then tech as needed. I just get the Immortal in case, even if they come hard with Marines, I'll keep it at the back of my line and get a few kills, and then I'll say, okay, they only have Marines, I'll go into Colossi. The robotics facility allows for that transition, which is why it's so useful. And the Observer, as Squirtle is now getting, allows him the Scout to see what kind of robo units he wants to make. And even the Warp Prism is very useful for drops, and if you get the Grubby style, where you drop in a couple of sentries, force field your opponent's ramp here, and then they cannot bring their main army into their base to help, so you can just ravage their base. I've seen that in PvZ from Grubby. And we actually do have quite a few Stalkers here from Squirtle. Now, combat shields and armor level 1 coming from MMA, and now ground weapons and armor level 1 from Squirtle. So he does have 2 forges, quite intelligent. With the fast expand, he can accommodate that degree of upgrades. So now he does have his Observer moving out. Did I see a second? I don't think so, no. There is, see, as I said, there is the quick Immortal there, immediately following the Observer, and he's probably going to see this factory moving out to scout for MMA. Concussive shells as well, so we will probably be seeing at least some Marauders on the field here for Sella. That Marine Marauder Medevac is hard to counter if you're Protoss, and if they transition into Vikings because they have the reactored starport, then it's even more difficult because your Colossi are at risk. But if you have a strong Blink Stalker composition, really, when it's Terran MMM against Protoss 3-gate Robo, and it's an upfront battle, it comes down to micro. I mean, that must be pretty obvious to some of you, but it's especially relevant in this case. At some times, if you have infestors, and even if it's an upfront battle, you're focused more on your fungals rather than your actual roach control, which needs not be too much, then it's a lot less prevalent than going for a MMM against 3-gate Robo, because you have to focus down the Colossi, and then the Protoss has to focus down the Stalkers. So there's going to be actually a mass Marine drop here, but a nice reaction time here from Squirtle. I was so focused on the battle, I was just like, wait, what's the name again? Is it Sella? Is it Squirtle? So I just sat there, dumbfounded for a few seconds, saying, I don't know if I sounded like a freak or anything like that, but these Marines are now going to be dropped off. That did not go too well for MMA, because for Squirtle, if he had not reacted as he had, it would have been disastrous. So as I said, there's that Robo-bait transition from Squirtle. He does have 2 Immortals. That's reasonable enough. He's going to have his 2-2 on the way, and I think he's actually upgraded his opponent by this point. No, it's 1-1. It's even, but we do not have any further upgrades coming from MMA. He is now getting a 2nd engineering bay, adding on 2 more racks along with that 3rd expansion, and an armory to allow for more upgrades, of course. We do have the Twilight Council for Squirtle, which permits him these upgrades, so he's going to go for Blink. Might be pretty useful against some drops. So now there's some nice force fields there, denying MMA really any sort of an advance. He'd be choked into here and would ultimately be done for. There's going to be the Ghost Academy from MMA, so I don't know where he's going to go for this one. I don't see EMPs, really. They won't be I guess they could be useful, but they're more of a counter to Archons directly, a hard counter to them. So maybe he's going to go for a nuke play, which would be very interesting. But he's going to try to drop now, and I don't know if that's exactly going to work against Blink Stalkers, which Squirtle does now boast. He's just going to be on his game here, waiting for that drop. I don't know where the Observer actually is, if there is one now. Yes, quelque part, as we say in French, at some point in the base there must be an Observer. Oh no, it's just sitting idly here. Maybe it's new. It's tough to follow the Observer sometimes. There is actually going to be this Mobius reactor. There we go, the Mobius Foundation, allowing those ghosts more initial energy, and ship weapons level 1, so we're probably going to see Vikings somewhere relatively soon. I don't think he actually has too many right now. And there's now the observer over here going to move into the missile turret and die. No, nice micro there from Squirtle, saving the little obs his life. So there are these 4 loaded medevacs. One of them almost loaded. And now the factory just sitting idly here. That would be pretty funny if he just landed it here and just started making Hellions or something just for the hell of it. Because no, the poor factory in Terran MMM is just neglected. So there's going to be 2 Stalkers warping in here. This third will not be denied for Squirtle. Just excellent reaction times. Whenever I'm as a Protoss player, whenever I'm under any sort of harass, it's just so frustrating. I mean, Squirtle did not have the time to fully control that because of his main battle here with some nice blink destroying a medevac. I don't know if I do not believe it was loaded, but he has actually inflicted a ton of punishment on his opponent. I might even go back and review this because I was focused on the harass on his third. Actually, I will. I'll go back to the point I missed, and then I'll move a little bit faster, and then I will continue on with my game as normal. So we just have, let's see. My apologies, by the way, I was focused on that third harass. Freaking 2 Stalkers versus 3 Marines, and then you have this. So there we go, the Marauders and Marines getting dropped off. Nice Colossus micro there, and then that's the blink there, really. The devastating blink, so we'll get it back up to the point that we were at. Yeah, just some more sad, tragic Terran deaths, and then we're about here, so some nice reinforcements here from Squirtle. His third is now going to finish, and I don't think it's looking very good right now for MMA. He is going for another command center, probably for a 4th or maybe a macro CC. I don't know where that's being produced, but he's going to have a main face-off here. 1 Stalker blanking forward. They're going to be focusing down these Vikings most probably. Let us see how the Colossus can manage. One of them is going to die, but the other one has racked up 5 kills, and Slayer Stella, known to you commoners as MMA, is going to GG out of this, and the pro Startail Squirtle has won our series 2-0, guys. I will find some new, fresh, relevant material that for you to enjoy in the future. If you have any suggestions for videos or replays, do let me know. I hope you enjoyed my return to commentary. This is Austin signing off. Goodbye.